Hello, hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to another episode of the In Demand Hairstylist podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year to you. At the time of this recording, it's January of 2024. And this year, I have really high hopes. I feel like the past few years have been filled with lots of challenges and transitions. And I feel like we're settling in finally. And I think this year is going to be a very big, impactful year for many, many hairstylists and salon owners. And so when I was thinking about what is the very first podcast that I want to create for this new year, and a huge part of me wanted to start with goal setting and vision boarding and creating your vision for 2024. But instead, the route that I decided to go was to give you something that I want to start off with a bang. I wanted to give you something that you could immediately start to implement into your business to impact your business positively this year. And so that's exactly what this podcast episode is all about. It's going to be called the Impact Zones to build your business for the year. So the impact zones to positively impact your business, to attract more clients, to increase your revenue, and to create raving fans and loyal clients. So I'm really, really excited to dive into this because I'm taking some of the content that I have previously put out there, right, and really condensing it down into some tangible things that you can go back and start to work on in the salon. And the thing that I love about these things are that they don't cost money, and they really don't actually cost you any time either. And I know that time is such a valuable thing for each and every one of us. So these things that I'm going to share with you guys, these are the things that will create success in your business. If you don't know anything about me, I started my salon at the age of 23. I grew it to almost 7-figure salon, and I had 13 employees. The growth that I experienced in my business and in my own personal business behind the chair as a hairstylist, the reason I was able to grow my business quickly and maintain an incredibly loyal clientele and increase my prices without losing clients is because I created demand for myself as a hairstylist. I created demand for myself or for the salon. My team as a whole created demand for our salon, which meant that we were able to create the kind of lifestyle that we all wanted and the kind of revenue that we all wanted. So if you want to continue making more money, if you want to continue attracting new clients, there are some things that need to happen and get to happen this year in order to make that possible for you. And that is what I'm going to share with you today. So I'm going to share with you the 9 impact zones of your business that will make the biggest difference to positively impact your business, to grow it, and to increase your revenue. Okay, how do we do this? I'm going to start with, these are in no particular order, but I am going to share with you the ones that I think are the most important. But I don't know you, I don't know your business, I don't know what areas of your salon experience and what areas of your business are really thriving right now and the areas that may not be. I don't know that, but I'm going to share with you what I believe are the most important pieces to sort of focus on, either getting better at, or if you're already great at them, these are the areas that you really want to highlight when you're doing like your marketing and things like that as well. All right, so let's dive in. The first impact zone is the first impression or the greeting. And this is so incredibly important because how your client feels as soon as they walk through the door is sort of like the starting point of their experience with you, with your service and in your salon. So the greeting and the first impression, whether it's a first time client or an existing client that's been coming for years, it doesn't matter. They still get a first impression every single time they come through that salon door. So my question is, are you greeting your clients? Like, are you saying hello, or is somebody saying hello to them, greeting them, welcoming them to the salon, telling them where they need to sit and wait, where the restroom is, like where they can hang their coat, if they want something to drink, if they want a snack, like whatever it might be, just welcoming them, setting the tone for the appointment. This is one of the biggest impact zones that I think is so important, because I do think it is the starting point and kind of shifts the trajectory of what the rest of the appointment will look like, or what the rest of their experience will look and feel like. So it's more about a feeling that they get when they walk through the door. So this might be just you saying hello, greeting them. It might be the smell or the scent that they get as soon as they walk through the door. It may be the way that the salon looks when they walk through the door. Are you changing things up in your waiting area? Whatever it might be, there's all of these things that we can consider when it comes to first impressions. Just know that every single time your client walks through the door, first time or 100th time, they get a first impression. And this is one of the first impact zones that I would focus on if I was a hairstylist, if I was a salon owner. What is the vibe that people get as soon as they walk into my salon? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it neutral? Is it meh? Is it awesome? Like, what is it? So this is the first impact zone. The second impact zone is the shampoo experience. This is an area that there are some people who are magnificent at the shampoo experience. They treat it as though it is an experience, and they thrive in their business because of it. There are also stylists out there who skimp on this part of the experience because they're on a time schedule. Their next client is already there and they're just getting started on their haircut appointment, or they know that they have a color that's processing and they need to hurry up through this haircut, so they skimp on the shampoo experience. This is not good. Like, if you're going to skimp on any area of the salon experience, the shampoo experience is not the area to do that, because we know that for most clients, like I would say 95% of clients, this is their favorite part of the entire service. It's the part where they can sit back, relax, breathe for a moment, get a beautiful scalp massage. You guys, that like the scalp has so many it's just such a sensitive area for people, and it's the start. Again, it's like an extension of that first impression. The first place that they visit is the shampoo sink. And so this is sort of like the start to the experience. And so this is truly the favorite part for people. So what are you doing to elevate your shampoo experience? Maybe the first thing you need to do is just stop skimping on them. Like, you don't even have to use hot towels and essential oils and all of these elaborate things that make a shampoo experience amazing. Maybe you just start by making it a little bit longer, not rushing through it, being intentional about how you're massaging the scalp and how you're combing through the hair, creating like a sense of relaxation and calmness at the salon, or at the sinks, at the shampoo area. Now, that's what I would start with. So if this is an area that you are totally not focusing on, I would say, hey, like, this is an area to really focus on, because your clients will immediately notice a difference too. If their previous visit, you did your shampoos the way you typically do them, and then the next time they come in, you're taking your time. You yourself are relaxed when you're shampooing your client. You slowed it down a little bit. You're intentional about like the pressure points on the scalp that you're massaging, and you're taking your time. They will notice that. That's an impact zone. That is value right there. So when you are going to raise your prices, you can't have a crappy shampoo experience. Like, you just can't, because at some point you can only raise your prices to a certain point before people think, is this really worth it? Now, if you give them an amazing experience at the shampoo sink, like, they leave feeling relieved and just like relaxed and amazing. It becomes not just the haircut, not just the color, but they also get this like added bonus of almost like a spa, like, or a massage, like within the haircut, within the hair service. And so it's valuable. And that's what we're trying to create when we talk about being in demand and having people knocking down your door because they want to get in with you and your salon. You have to create demand. And where are you creating it in your business? So these are why I'm talking about these impact zones. So like we talked about the first impression, we talked about the shampoo. The third impact zone is the consultation. Now, the consultation is also an area where not everybody has, I guess, the education that I think is really required to have an empowered consultation. A consultation is not, what are we doing today? You are the expert. You would never walk into a doctor's office and say, hey, so what are we doing today? Like, or if your doctor said, what are we doing today? They would ask you questions. They would say, so tell me what's been happening with your, what's been going on with you? What brings you here today? What's bothering you? What are your goals? How would you like to feel? And so your doctor would never say, so what are we doing today? Just like you wouldn't say to your client, what are we doing today? And that is a habit that I have formerly been in. I used to be the stylist to be like, so what are we doing today? Especially if it's a client that you've been doing a while. We get into this sort of like friendly banter, like a friendly conversations with our clients. And we get to this point where it's just like, hey, what are we doing today? Like, your client, regardless of how many times they've come to see you, regardless of how close you are, they're paying you for a service. So you need to deliver. So that means having a in-depth consultation. And this is something that I teach my clients that I work with, is a very strategic way of executing a consultation so that you can get the most valuable information from your clients. And this includes asking open-ended questions. So when you ask your client open-ended questions like, tell me when was the last time that you really, really loved your hair? That's not just like, do you want to go dark or light? Or like, it's not like, do you like your hair right now? Yes, no. You're asking a question that's going to give you more information. So when you ask open-ended questions, you get more information. When you get more information, you can make accurate and informed recommendations for your client. And so based on what they need, and based also on what they want. And the only way that you can do that is if you're actually listening. And so then that's the other piece of it. How often do you already have in your head what you want to do to that client? Are you truly listening and respecting what they want? Because here's the thing, some people come in and say they want a trim. And a trim to them is a micro trim, like a half of a centimeter. And to you, a trim is 3 inches. Well, there's a miscommunication there. And so if you go ahead and do what you feel they need, and you know that they need, and you chop 3 inches off, but they wanted to keep some of their dead ends and they just wanted the very ends, they walk out, you have an unhappy client. That client is either not going to return, or even worse, they may tell other people like, I only wanted a trim and this chick cut off like 3 inches of my hair. So this is why consultation is important, and there is a happy medium between what you want and what your client wants. And sometimes they're the same thing and sometimes they're not. And so you have to kind of negotiate, and the only way you can really do that is be listening to your client. So open-ended questions during the consultation to get information that you need from them, and making powerful recommendations is so important. So the consultation is really piece where you can get on the same page with your client and they can feel seen and heard while they sit in your chair, which is so valuable. Because when they have gone to other salons, they a lot of times have said, when clients would come and see me, my hairstylist just didn't listen to me. I would say this and then she would do this, or I would do this and he would do that, or I would say this and he would do this. So it's valuable to have a hairstylist that listens to you. People will pay higher prices for a stylist who truly listens. And so this is why the consultation is an impact zone. All right. So the fourth impact zone is the service experience. So now all these impact zones make up the salon experience as a whole, but I'm talking about just the service experience. How is the service experience? So you go through, you've greeted them, you've shampooed them, you've had this great consultation, and now it's time for the actual execution of the service. This is an impact zone, because sometimes this can make or break the experience for the client. Are you the stylist that is constantly talking about yourself, your family, your vacations, your problems, your boyfriend? Are you getting, and I'm not saying that you can't create relationships with your guests. In fact, I just think it's an inevitable thing that happens as a hairstylist. Like, you create connections and relationships. That's part of what makes our job so powerful. But with that being said, I believe still at the end of the day, people are paying for a service. And if at any moment they start feeling like you're taking them for granted or that they don't matter, that's when they reconsider how they are spending their money and spending their time, quite honestly. So you never want to make your client feel like they're less important. You don't want to see an existing client, you don't ever want an existing client to see you give 5-star treatment to a brand new client, and then you come back and you're like, oh, thanks, Jane, for waiting. Like, I had a new client and whatever. So like, that's part of this service experience, right? You want to always make sure that you are treating them like a new client, like a 5-star client, like a VIP client. You don't ever want to get so comfortable that like the experience just doesn't matter, or that you're leaving and answering the phone, or you're looking at a text message comes through and your phone's sitting on your station and you're paying more attention to that than the service that you're doing. The other piece of this is, how does your station look? Like, have you wiped down your mirror lately? Is your station clean and pristine? Do you have hair all around your station? Like, these things matter whether you think they do or they don't. So if you don't think that they matter and your clients are cool, I've heard stylists say this, like, oh, she's cool, she won't care. That is the minute that you need to check yourself. When you're starting to say, oh, it's just Sarah, she doesn't care. No, that is inappropriate behavior for a hairstylist. Like, you can do that, but I promise you it's hurting your business. If it's not hurting it right now, it will. And that's just not how amazing businesses are built. That is not how 6-figure stylists are made. By being mediocre and lackadaisical with how they approach the service experience. So these things matter, and it is an impact zone of your business. The next one is the next impact zone of your business is your skill and technique. So what sets you apart from other stylists? It could literally be just the way that you cut hair. Like, most stylists will pull it up, chop, right? Like, do you have like an eloquent way that you cut hair? Are you like gentle? I mean, it's just your way of being and how you execute things, your skill, your technique. These are the things that make you unique. I'm not saying you have to like do something special or perform for your client, but what I am saying is develop your stamp, develop your way of doing things, And that becomes unique in the marketplace, right? So, you know, and then also not only just the way that you do things, the way that you execute things, but also how good you are. I mean, at the end of the day, someone who values and wants and will pay good money for a particular service, they're typically looking for the best. They want the best and they're willing to pay for it. And if you're a stylist who's wanting to take a quality over quantity approach, which is basically what I teach to, you need to elevate your skill set, your technique, become unique in the marketplace, make yourself the expert, you know, get to the point where you have mastery over your skill. And just to give you guys a heads up, like that's 10,000 hours or more is what they say is that you have to do something for 10,000 hours or more. So if you haven't done 10,000 haircuts, then you're probably not a master at them yet. So that's just something to really consider. So it's typically like 10 years. Like it will take somebody like anywhere between 5 and 10 years. Typically, I find that mastery happens like usually around that point, like 8 to 10 years. So if you've been in the game for 2 years, you're not a master at anything. You might be a specialist, you might be specialing, but you're not a master at it. So you may be very good at what you do, but there's the minute that you think that you're good and you're the best and there's nothing else to do is the minute that you start dying. So if you're not growing, you're dying. So find a way to innovate what you're doing. But I can promise you, if you're a stylist that's a newbie, anywhere between like less than 5 years, like you're not a master at anything that you do yet. So continue to work on it, continue to get better, take classes, improve your skill set. Again, you can be offended by what I say, or you can take it for what it is. I've been in the industry for 20 years. I had a salon, commission-based salon for 14, operated as a stylist behind the chair for 18 of those years. So I know what it takes to build a business. I know what it takes to build a clientele of loyal clients who will pay your price. And so you can be offended, or you can take the advice and listen. And so skill and technique is an impact zone of your business. The next impact zone of your business is educating your client. There are so many stylists who do their magic behind the chair and make their client look amazing and beautiful, and then they just send them out the door and say, enjoy. And so that's good. Like your client is getting what they paid for. But the extra like icing on top is educating your client and informing them. Because if they're not getting it from you, they're getting the information from somewhere else. Typically, TikTok or YouTube. Like they're learning how to style their hair on TikTok, which is fine, right? We all learn lots of different things from TikTok and YouTube. But why not be the person who is the expert that they come to when they have a question? Be the expert that's educating them. Like be the source of where they look to when they want to know how to style their hair, when they want to know what product they should use, when they want to know what change they should make. Like you should be the source for them. You should be the person who is educating them, and that means something to your client. Like they're like, oh my God, my stylist taught me this really cool thing today. Like, or, oh my God, my stylist posted this really awesome thing. I had no idea that your hair only grows this much per month, or blah, 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 whatever it is. You know, educate your clients on what you're doing and what they need to know about their hair. That is one of the biggest impact zones too, I think, that makes a difference between stylists who are just average and then stylists that are in demand. So those are one impact zone that you can start to work on starting tomorrow. The next impact zone is making recommendations, product recommendations, and maintenance. And if you would have asked me this even, I don't know, when I had my salon, like I think in a lot of salons, we get, in our industry as a whole, we get beaten down with products. Like, I think that there are, I just think that it's overdone sometimes. But I had shifted my mindset about product because I put myself back in the client's space. And so I want to share this with you because maybe it may be helpful for you. So I don't know if you are a salon owner who is constantly talking to your team about selling product and selling product. We all know that retail product is a revenue stream for the salon. It 100% is. And I think because we know that it's a revenue stream for the salon, we feel like it's this thing that we have to push and we have to train our teams to do. And if you're a stylist that works in a commission salon or just a stylist who works, you have your own suite or a booth or whatever, there's always this overarching cloud of pressure to sell product. And it's gotten so icky because even product brands, like, they teach you ways to sell product and it feels like, well, you just want me to do that so that I'll sell your product. Like, there's just this icky, at least I have felt like that in the past. And I know that as an industry as a whole, because retail numbers are always down, like, it's the salon owners that I coach, it's always the hardest area of the salon to really focus on, or to build or grow that revenue. And it's interesting. It's so freaking interesting, guys, because I'm going to go off on a little tangent here and we will get back to impact zones, but I think this is important to share, is that the beauty industry and like products and stuff is this crazy, like $80 billion industry, like billion, like I don't know the exact number, but it's a B, not millions. No, $1 billion industry, the beauty industry, hair color, makeup, products, anti-aging, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So my thing is, people are buying it. Like, people are 100% buying it. And so the question then becomes like, why do salons, like, why do we struggle with this so much? Like, it's so weird. But I want to share with you an experience that sort of shifted it for me. And it changed my perspective on selling product. And this is why I put it in impact zone, because I don't think it's icky. I actually think it's part of our responsibility. Because I remember, and this has happened to me several times, but I'll share with you one experience. I went and got a facial done. During the facial, I enjoyed it so much. It was an awesome experience. This woman who did my facial was just gentle and soft, and she used these products that were they smelled amazing, and my skin felt so good. And so we finished up, and as she was walking me to the front, she walked me straight past this whole wall of products that they had. And like, me, customer Kristen, was like, oh, wait, I want to look at these things. Like, oh, wait. And she just kept walking and walked me straight up to pay for my service. And I was like, I wanted to buy something. If anything at all, this is how sensitive our clients are to, like, for me, I loved the smell of this one product. It was sort of like this citrusy smell. It just was so good. I didn't even know what the product was. I didn't even know if it was a product I could buy. I didn't even know if it was a product, an anti-aging product, a moisturizer. I didn't know, but I didn't care. I only wanted it because it smelled amazing. And do you want to know why I wanted it? Because I wanted to be able to put that on at home and feel the way that I felt when I was getting my facial done. That smell I knew that smell would remind me of the experience of just being so relaxed and enjoying myself. So again, didn't even know what the product was. It could have been a mask. It could have been a moisturizer. I didn't know, but I wanted it. And she walked me directly right past the products, straight up to pay for my service. And I felt sad. I felt gypped, quite honestly. I felt like, oh my God, I cannot believe, especially because I had a salon at that point. I had a whole team. I was trained my team on these things. I was like, I can't believe she just walked straight back, like past this and made zero recommendations for me. Like as a customer, like what if I needed something? What if I did have a problem with my skin and I was searching for a product? If anything at all, like that was the moment that I had with a professional where I could have asked questions and been like, if I could take one home one product home that would be like best for my skin, like what would you recommend, like based on my skin? Like you just, you were just on my skin, so you saw it, you saw like how it reacted to things, like what do I need? And she just didn't do that. And when I had that experience, it changed everything for me, because I was like, I see it differently now. I see that is actually our responsibility to help our clients with how they should be maintaining their hair. So the recommendation of product is not about money. Yes, is it a revenue stream? Yes, do we make money? All those things. But it's a service to our clients because they want them. And if they don't, that's totally fine. Like they can say no, and they can just say they're not interested. But it's really sad when a client leaves and they just had this most amazing experience and they love their hair and they love the way it smells and the way it looks and the way it feels. And then they leave with nothing to just maintain it. If anything, they leave with nothing in their hand to just remind them of the experience. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how powerful our senses are. I know that each of you know what I'm talking about when you smell something and it reminds you of somebody, or a time when you were younger, or you hear a song and it takes you right back to that place. It is the same thing with these products. Why do you think that they put so much money into the scent of a product? Because it's powerful. And so if anything else, you guys, like your clients may just want to take it home because it smells like the freaking salon and they want to put it on their hair. So like it's an impact zone of your business that you could be missing out on for several reasons. A, money, but B, just the connection between your client and serving them on that next level. So this is why I did include recommendation and maintenance. Like how do they take care of it at home? How can they recreate it? And that goes a little bit with the education piece of it. But recommending products and having products for your clients to purchase is so important, because they really want to be buying them from you. I don't think they want to be taking a stab at it or taking a guess on Amazon or when they're walking through Target. I think they want to be buying products from their professional stylist. Like I know that's how I am. So that is an impact zone. We have two more impact zones. This one is very, very important. I think this is probably one of the most important. So when I said, like, I'm going to tell you guys, like, some of the most important ones, I think this is one of the most important ones. I think so many stylists drop the ball on, and this makes the difference between an average stylist and an in-demand hairstylist. And this impact zone is the connection, what I call the connection. The connection is how are you connecting with your client from the time that they walk out the door and then walk in the door for their next visit, whether that's 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months. How are you connecting with your client in the meantime? Because that connection point does a few things. It shows them that you care. It helps them feel connected to you. It keeps you top of mind in their heads, and you're providing value to them in the meantime. So that obviously, the obvious thing is social media, right? Like have your clients follow you on social media, post on a semi-regular basis. I always say, like, as you notice, impacts on, like, social media is not anywhere on here. I am so sick of social media. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I think it's amazing. I think it's annoying. I don't think it's the way that you build your business. It's a way of marketing your business. It's absolutely not a way of building your business. Some people may argue, but if you see in your reports, if you get into reports and see, and if you would start to track this year, where are my clients coming from? When I have a new client, where are they coming from? I guarantee you, most of your clients are coming from Google or client referrals. Google client referrals. That's where your clients are coming from. There may be a small percentage of people who come in from social media, and I don't think this is always the case. I think there are some people who are truly niched and truly expert and their social media is a huge source of new clients. But unless you are super niched and expert and just truly just like an expert at using social media, chances are that's not going to be where the majority of your people are. That is going to be a tool to connect with your clients in between visits, educating them, showing them behind the scenes, connecting with them, showing your personality. Like, this is what your social media is, like a connection point. So it is important, but I don't think it's as important to build your business and create demand for yourself as doing the things that we're talking about today. So connection can be that. It could be an email, like an email list that you send, like a newsletter, or, just like a weekly update, sending an email, sending a text message in between, a handwritten note. Like, do not underestimate the power of a handwritten note to some of your favorite clients in between their visit, just because. And if you're feeling really like out of your comfort zone, pick up the phone and call. Like, God forbid, can we even imagine picking up the phone and calling somebody? But how powerful to pick up the phone and call a client that you just did a complete transformation on, or they changed their hair color to something different, or they got a new haircut. They chopped 6 inches off of their hair. How cool is it to call and be like, hey, Sarah, like, I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing with your new haircut. Like, how is it going for you? How are you able to are you able to style it? Do you have any questions for me? How nice is that? I guarantee there's such a small percentage of stylists who do this, that if you do, it's going to set you apart from everybody. So these are the impact zones of your business. The last one, and I actually think this is important, but I don't think it's the most important, and that's the salon atmosphere. It's important. That's why I included it, right? But here's what I don't want. I don't want you to focus on decor. I don't want you to focus more on IKEA than your clients. I don't want you to focus more on some cozy corner of your salon than your skill set. I don't want you to focus more on the pictures that are hanging in the salon than how you greet your client when they walk in the door. So these things that I'm talking about today, I would say salon atmosphere, super important. How your salon looks and feels is really important. And it's part of your branding. It's part of your marketing. So it is important, but it's not more important than the way that you treat people and the way that you make them feel. So I think that's just the biggest thing that I would leave you with when it comes to salon atmosphere is, yes, make your salon beautiful and cozy and lovely and, different and eccentric, whatever it is that you want to create, but not before you really focus on the experience for your client and how you treat people and how you're really stepping up to the plate as a hairstylist. Like, I want you to be a 10 out of 10 hairstylist and executing an excellent service experience before I would worry about like what you're hanging in the salon or what light fixture you have in the salon. Just not as important. Important, just not as important. So everything that we talked about today, guys, embodies the salon experience. So if you're listening to this today, because it was a lot of information, don't get overwhelmed. What I would recommend is listen to this back. Hopefully you took some notes and wrote down the impact zones. I'm going to recap them for you. Let's go through them real quick before I go through this. So the 9 impact zones are the first impression or the greeting, the shampoo experience, the consultation, the service experience, your skill or technique, educating your client, making product recommendations and maintenance, like how to maintain their hair, the connection between their current visit and their next visit, how are you connecting with them, and the salon atmosphere. These are the 9 impact zones. What I would say is choose one of these. Say, oh my goodness, I get to really work on my consultation. That's the area that I just like, I don't even do a consultation, or my consultation really does sound like, what are we doing today? And within that one thing that you choose, just choose one small action that you can take. So, or if it's the shampoo experience, what I don't want you to do is be like, oh my God, I got to up my shampoo experience game. I'm going to go out and buy a hot towel warmer. And I'm going to buy this. And I'm going to buy that. No, start with one thing. Let me start making each of my shampoos at least 5 minutes instead of rushing through it in 1 minute. Let me start by making it 5 minutes long. Maybe I set a timer. Maybe I have a little watch. Maybe I look. Let me start by being intentional about how I'm shampooing people's hair. Maybe let me make it intentional about how I take them back, or how maybe I put a towel under their neck to make it more comfortable. Like, start so small, you guys. I know as an overachiever, as a driven, motivated person, those are the kind of people that listen to this podcast. Like, I know that you're like me. And the first thing you think you want to do is like completely change and up level your business, like, and try and do it all. What I have found is that the most growth and impact and progression happens when you do small things at a time. One small thing. And it feels so inky and like you're not making any progress and there's no growth or whatever, because you're just wasting your time, quote unquote, doing this small thing. But small things add up. And I'm learning that is really what creates success. That is truly what sets you apart, is when you focus on one small thing, get good at it, stay consistent, and then move on and shift something else. If you do that one thing a month, you have 12 areas of your business that you are transforming in a year's period. Or maybe you spend 1 week doing one small thing, or one day just changing, like cleaning up your salon area or organizing your station, like whatever it might be. But start so small. Choose one impact zone. And within that impact zone, ask yourself, what is one small thing that I can do this week that will help to impact my business in a positive way? This is what I want to leave you guys with today. And you guys, I have really done some soul searching with where I want to take this podcast. I have I've been on this journey where I have really been feeling the waters with where I enjoy being the most and where I enjoy talking to people the most. And quite honestly, I really love speaking to this stuff. This creating an in-demand business and being an in-demand hairstylist and how you get to that point. That's the stuff I love talking about. Business fascinates me, and I'm constantly looking and learning into what makes people successful, what makes businesses successful. And that's what I love. And so that's where I'm going to put a lot of my focus this year. So if you enjoyed this podcast episode, there's going to be more podcast episodes like this about helping you to truly create demand for yourself as a hairstylist, demand for your salon, and so that you can truly create demand for your services and for your business. When you're able to do that, you have a constant flow of clients, you retain existing clients, you're able to elevate your pricing, which means you're able to elevate your life. Okay, so that's what this is all coming down to. When you show up in excellence, there are more opportunities and flexibility and freedom in your life that are possible for you because you show up in excellence. So that's what it's all about. I've really had to, and I started with this, you guys. I've been all around coaching, doing talking about a lot of different things, but it always comes back to these core things. And it's all about who you're being, how you're showing up, and how you can continue to grow and elevate yourself so that it reflects in your life and the results that you get in your life. And so that's what I'm here to do this year in 2024, to help help support you. If you love this podcast, this is what I would love for you to do. Start off the year by something you can do for me that would be incredibly helpful is to leave a review. If you could do a written review, that's amazing. If you could just leave a 5-star, if you feel like it's worthy of that, leave me a 5-star review. That will really help this podcast get out to more people. And also, if you found it valuable and helpful and you feel like this could be helpful for another stylist or an owner, send this podcast episode to them. That is really all I want, is to help elevate our industry. And so you doing those small things, taking 2 seconds to do it, really, really helps. And I'm incredibly grateful. I'm incredibly grateful for every new listener. And I'm incredibly grateful if you're a listener who's been listening to this podcast since 2019 when it started. Thank you so much. 2024 is going to be an absolutely amazing year. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode.